Welcome to the second week of the course Unit Operations of Particulate Matter. This is the first lecture of week 2 and here we will introduce the concept of filtration. Now this particular topic, that is filtration, we will cover in 3 different lectures, that is lecture 1, lecture 2 and lecture 3, where we will cover filtration as well as batch filtration. So in first lecture we will define the filtration, we will discuss the principles of filtration, and then we will cover the steps involved in filtration and different types of filtration. In second lecture of this session, we will describe the governing equation which are used to design the filtration equipment, filtration unit. And in third lecture of this session, we will discuss the examples so that the concept of filtration and the calculation etc. for design of filtration unit can be illustrated. So let us start with the first lecture of week 2, which is on filtration. Now what is the purpose and motivation of this lecture is, the purpose is to provide the basic technical information on filters and filter media. So the purpose is to we will define the filtration, we will discuss about the filters and filter media. Now what is the motivation behind it? The filtration, if we consider filtration process we use in our day to day life, whether we are aware aware with it or not, but we use it, and how we will translate the concept of filtration which we use in our day to day life to the industrial scale, that will be the motivation of this particular lecture. So what is filtration? If you see this particular figure, what this image shows, that here we have the filter media, if you consider, and we have the solution over there. The solution is continuously coming over here, but the particle which are available in the solution, if their size is greater than the pores of the media, the solid will be deposited or it will not be filtered from this, it will not be penetrated through this. However, the particle which are lesser than, they can penetrate. So that speaks about the concept of filtration. Now what is filtration is, filtration can be defined as the removal of solid particles from a fluid by passing the fluid through a filtering media on which solids are deposited. So we have to filter the slurry, so that solid which is available in this, that should be deposited on the filter media, and liquid which is available, that should pass through the media. So that is basically the filtration. So filtration is very much a part of our daily life, even if we are not aware of them. Now to give an example of this, when we carry out, when in our day to day life, what we do, I can say this, that many of us have at least strained the tea which we prepare for us. So that is nothing but the filtration process. What we do in that, we take the strainer and then we pass the tea through this. So the tea leaves which are available in the tea, that will be collected in the strainer, and rest of the liquid will be passed through it. So that is nothing but the filtration itself. So similarly in many other day to day activity we use filtration, but whether we are aware this or not, but we use the filtration. But the purpose of this lecture is how we will use this technique to design the process. Further, as we all have gone through the labs in school, chemistry labs in school, so we all have used the filtration process. If you consider this image, here we have the test tube, and over this test tube we put the funnel, and inside the funnel we have the filter paper. Then the mixture will be entered into this, so that the unwanted part or the solid which is available in the mixture, that will be collected in the filter and liquid is passed through this. So in lab also we have used the concept of filtration, but obviously at very low scale. So in laboratory the suspension is poured into the conical funnel fitted with a filter paper. Now if we want to translate this concept to industrial purpose, in a industrial equivalent, difficulties are encountered in the mechanical handling of much larger quantities of suspension and solids. A thicker layer of solids has to form, and in order to achieve high rate of passage of liquid through the solids, higher pressure are needed and a far greater area has to be provided. So you see, in lab scale, in our day to day life, we use filtration at very low scale. However, at industrial scale, a significantly large area is required, and because of that media, it after some time due to the accumulation of solid over the filter media, the liquid will not pass through. So for that purpose, we have to increase the pressure so that liquid should pass through the media. So all these complexities we have to consider in designing a filtration system for industrial process or industrial purpose. So here we have in this slide the principle of filtration. Now what is the principle of filtration? First of all, we should see what are the different component in filtration system we have to consider, and these components are, first of all, we have to take the filter media through which slurry should pass, and then that filter media should be stayed over some some support. Like if we consider the example of funnel also, like in the previous slide we have discussed. So the funnel, and inside this we put the filter media, so that funnel works as a support to the filter media. In the similar line, and in industry also, below the filter media we provide some support so that it should be stayed over there, and over the filter media we pass the slurry. After some time of the operation, what happens, the filter the solid available in the slurry that is deposited on the filter media and prepare a thick cake, which we call as the cake of solid available in the slurry, and due to accumulation of solid over the filter media, liquid can be passed through that, so we can have very clear liquid as filtrate. So what is the principle over here, that we have to take the filter media, we have to take support to the filter media, and then slurry should pass through the filter media. So we can collect the solid in terms of cake, we can collect the clear water or clear solvent in terms of filtrate. So since the filter media is permeable only to the liquid, only to the fluid, it retains the solid particles and permits only the fluid to pass through, which is collected as the filtrate. The volume of filtrate collected per unit time is dV by dt, is termed as the rate of filtration. So how we have defined the rate of filtration? The volume collected per unit time, and this dV by dt we will use to derive the governing equations also. So as filtration proceeds, solid particles accumulate on the filter media, forming a packed bed of the solid, and we call this as a filter cake. So what happens, first we take the media, slurry is passed through it, and after some time the thick layer of solid will be formed over the media, that we call as the cake. So what we can understand over here, that as the thickness of this cake increases, you can understand when we have the formation of solid over the filter media, what happens, it will offer a resistance for a liquid to pass through the media. So as the thickness of cake increases, resistance to flow of filtrate increases, rate of filtration gradually decreases. Now here due to increased thickness of cake over the filter media, the filtrate which is collected through it, that will be decreased after that will start decreasing after some time, because of the resistance which is offered due to the formation of cake. So if rate is maintained to be constant, then pressure difference driving force will increase. So what we have to do over here, that due to the formation of thick layer over the filter media, the filtrate volume collected per unit time will keep on decreasing. If you want to maintain same rate of filtration, that is volume collected per unit time should be same, so we have to increase the pressure drop across the filter media or across the filter media as well as cake. So therefore, the batch filter is operated either by constant pressure or at constant rate. So as far as its principle is concerned, we either go for the constant pressure process or we can go for the constant rate process. Now what happens when we consider these two? So that can be illustrated with this figure, where at y axis we have pressure as well as Q, that is volume collected, and here we have the time. So as time proceeds, if we want to maintain the flow rate constant, maintain the flow rate of filtrate constant, then continuously we have to increase the pressure. Pressure will keep on increasing, so we will collect the constant volume of the filtrate, and when the pressure will be reached to the permissible value, after that the pressure should not be increased because of the operational difficulty. So after that pressure will remain constant, and once we keep the pressure constant, the volume of filtrate collected per unit time will keep on decreasing. So what we have to do, first of all we have to increase the pressure to constant the rate of filtration, and then we have to go for the constant pressure, so that filtrate volume will keep on, or rate of filtration will keep on decreasing. So to get the maximum output, first of all we have to operate at constant rate, and then we should proceed with constant pressure. Now what happens when we consider vice versa of this, like if we maintain the pressure constant and slurry and filtrate rate of filtration will keep on decreasing. So you can see this section of this of the image appears first, and after that when we increase the pressure, the filtrate can be constant. So you can see the filtrate can be constant at this level. So obviously the filtrate which has to be collected, its volume will be decreased, its rate will be decreased significantly. So for maximum output we have to operate with constant rate and then with constant pressure. Important factors which affect the rate of filtration are the pressure drop across the filter media, obviously because we have to maintain the rate of filtration, so pressure drop is an important factor across the media. Secondly, area of filtering surface. When we increase the area, we can handle more and more slurry at one time, but at the same time we should take care of the filter media, because accordingly we have to use larger filter media and the larger system, which will be difficult to handle. So, but area of filtering surface is an important factor. Another factor is the viscosity of the filtrate. It has to be not so much viscous, so that the penetration of liquid should be easier, so its viscosity should not be much. So, but viscosity affects the filtration process. Next is resistance of the filter cake. The filter cake resistance can be offered by the thickness of the cake. So, we should take care that after some time these cakes should be removed. So, the thickness of these cake will give the resistance, and that will be the factor for designing of filtration system. Finally, the resistance of the filter media and initial layers of the cake. Now, initial layer, when the slurry contact the filter media, what happens? Initially a layer is formed. So, that layer works also as the resistance, also as a filter media, because it stops, it blocks other particles to or it blocks liquid to pass through this. So, that will also work as a filter media. So, resistance will be offered by the initial layer, filter media, as well as total thickness of the cake. So, here we will discuss different steps which are involved in filtration process. You see, first is the filtration, where slurry is in contact with the media, filtration takes place, and after that we have second step is draining the liquor. The filtration which is filtrate which is formed, that we have to drain from the system. Then further the system should be filled with the wash water, because whatever cake is formed over the filter media, that we should wash with the clear water, or this clear water we also call as wash water. So third step is filling the system with wash water. Then washing takes place in the similar line as the filtration takes place. Washing also takes place in the same following same method, that instead of slurry, clear water should pass through the cake, so that it can wash the cake. Next step is draining the wash water, and finally we have to open, dump and reassemble the whole system. So these are the steps involved in batch process for filtration purpose. And then after dumping, after reassembling, again we fill with the slurry. So you see, filtration, draining liquor, filling with wash water, washing, draining the wash water, opening, dumping and reassembling. This is one cycle of filtration. Now if we consider the example from our day to day life, many of us used to prepare the cheese at our houses. So how we prepare this? First we have the curdling milk, then we strain with the media, that is very fine cloth, and through this we pass through the whole mixture. So what the lump inside the mixture, that will be collected in the media, and liquid pass through this. Okay, so that will be a few step of the filtration, that is filtering and then draining the liquor. Now what we do, we then wash the lump which is collected over the cloth. So we again fill this with water, clear water. The water passes through this through the lump, and then we again keep that lump one side and press with some heavy weight, so that it has the proper shape. And whatever drainage, whatever wash water we have used, that we have already discharged. So you see, all these steps are involved when we do the filtration process in our houses also. So what happens here, we have to the cake is formed, we have to wash the cake, then all these will be the cake will have to we have to discharge all the cake, so that it will the system will be reassembled for the next cycle. Now what happens, by some means, if continuously we remove this cake, because the cake is the main hurdle in the process. So if continuously we remove the cake, the filtration process can be translated into the continuous system from batch system. Now we have already seen the steps involved in filtration. Now we will see different types of filtration. The very common filtration is the cake filtration. Now if you see what happens in cake filtration, the particles from the suspension, which usually have high proportion of solids, are deposited on the surface of a porous septum, that is the filter media, which should ideally offer only small resistance to flow. Now initially it has very less resistance, because that passes through the filter media, so resistance is very less. Now what happens, after some time the solid layer will be formed over here, that offers major resistance to the for liquid to pass. So as solids build up on the septum, the initial layer form the effective filter medium, preventing the particles from embedding themselves in the filter cloth and ensuring that particle free filtrate should be obtained. So what happens that formation of in layer of solid, it stops other particle of solid to pass through this, and therefore we can get the clear liquid. But because of this, what happens, the solid will be deposited continuously on the filter media, and therefore the cake formation takes place. Therefore this complete process is called this complete filtration is called as cake filtration. Another filtration we have is depth or deep bed filtration. What happens over here? The particles penetrate through the pores of the filter medium, where impacts between the particles and surface of the medium are largely responsible for their removal and retention. This configuration is commonly used for removal of fine particle from very dilute suspension, where the recovery of particle is not of primary importance. So when slurry is very dilute, particle which are available in slurry is of very fine size, then we go for this. And what happens, these particle penetrate through the media, these particle entered through the media, but it cannot be penetrated through this, liquid will pass through this. So after in that case, as solid is entered into the media, this takes place. This type of filtration is required when solid recovery of solid is not the aim, only getting clear liquid is the aim. So in such type of filtration, what happens, filter bed gradually becomes clogged with particles and its resistance to flow eventually reaches an unacceptably high level. So you see, because particle enters into the filter media, it will not allow a liquid to pass through this. So after some time, because of clogging, this complete system we have to stop, because further penetration of liquid is not possible. So that is the main disadvantage of this. Now to overcome this problem of clogging, it is necessary to remove the accumulated solids, and this can be done very easily. Now how it can be done easily is, the filter commonly consists of bed of particulate solids. So instead of cloth or very fine filter media, if we can keep the sand bed or the bed of particulate solid, if that bed of particulate solid works as the filter media, so what happens, fine particle will be accumulated inside the particulate solid bed, and filtrate will pass through this. Now this particulate solid and the fine particle deposited over here, that can be recovered by back flushing process. So we can use sand bed or other particulate solid bed to carry out this deep bed filtration. Now here we have the filter media requirement. So what quality we should see as far as filter media is concerned, and these are: the filter media should retain solids to be filtered. So filter media has to retain the solid, that is first requirement. Second, give a reasonably clean filtrate. It should block the solid particle to pass or retain the solid particle, and filtrate should be very clear filtrate we should get. So does not plug or blind. The filter media should be like that, like its pore should be like that, the solid will deposited over here, it should not penetrate, though very fine particle penetrates, but we should take care, the filter media we should select in such a way so that particle should not penetrate and should not clog the filter media. Filter media should be chemically and physically resistant to the process condition. So what happens, it should whatever slurry we are using, the filter media material should not react with this. So the filter media material should be chemically and physically resistant to the process. It should permit cake to be discharged cleanly and completely. Yes, that is a very important factor, and it should not be too expensive. That is again the economy will involve over here. So based on all these points we should select the filter media. Now the common type of filter media are shown in this slide. If you see this image, here we have different types of filter media. That is, if we consider this one, that is twill weave, then this is the satin weave, and similarly we use double layer weave also for the filter media. And filter media, some images you can see over here, these it gives the idea of that filter media. So that filter media is basically the weaved stuff of cloth, weaved cloth, so that, and very thick cloth is there, so that we put as that we use as a filter media. So these are different types of media, and usually woven materials made of cotton, wool, silk, nylon, polyester and glass fibers and metal wires are most commonly used as filter media. Bed of granular solids such as sand are also used when highly corrosive sludge is handled. So you see, there are different type of filter media, not only cloth but sand we can also use as a filter media. Here we are stopping the first lecture of this session. In the next session we will discuss about the governing equation which are involved in filtration process. So that's all for now. Thank you.